Okay, we will go ahead and call today's zoning board of appeals meeting to order for Monday, July 13th, 2026. Can we proceed with roll call, please?
Of course. Chair McCarr.
Here.
Vice Chair Rott.
Here.
Mr. Barron.
Here.
Miss Polameni.
Here.
Miss Caputo.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Rusaw.
Here.
Miss Stroker.
Here.
And Miss Tomich.
Here.
Wonderful. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. First up on today's agenda is the approval of the agenda. So if anybody's had a chance to review, make any modifications, if there are no edits or comments, might there be a motion to approve the agenda as published or share any feedback?
Motion to approve the agenda minutes.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor say yes. Yes?
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. Okay, our agenda is approved. Next on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from the May 11th zoning board meeting. That was our last session with the prior group, so feels like a long time ago. It was only 2 months. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? Are there any comments, edits, or revisions necessary? Okay, having heard no comments to the minutes from the May 11th meeting, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion approved, motion seconded. All those in favor of approving the May 11th minutes as published, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. Okay. Next up in the agenda, we have public comments on items that are not on the published agenda. Is there anybody here from the public to speak about all things that is on their mind that's not on the agenda? Okay, having heard no comments, we'll move along to old business, which there is none. So we will carry on from old business and move on to new business. We have 4 items for new business tonight, starting with case number 1441 at 20555 Lincoln Hills Court. Ms. Steck, could you give a administrative review, please?
Good evening, all. Good to see you. The microphone being on was just a joke. Anyways, so hi, nice to see you all. We do have 3 action items for you, or 4 action items, 3 cases for you this evening. The first of which is at 20555 Lincoln Hills Court. We do have the applicant here with us tonight to answer any questions or cover anything that I may not. But our applicant is seeking to demolish their existing garage, and they are seeking 3 different variances, all related to the construction of this proposed garage. First, they are on a corner lot, and let's see. They are on the corner lot just off of 14 Mile Road in Lincoln Hills. Their entrance is off of, trying new things. They're, not trying new things. Laser pointer. Yes, we are. All right. Sweet. Their driveway is off of 14 Mile. Their address, though, the front of their house faces Lincoln Hills. They are seeking a setback variance for their rear yard, which would be considered over here. They're seeking a variance of 8 feet 8 inches from the required 40-foot setback. They are also they are seeking to construct a 3-car garage that is 989 square feet. This does exceed the square footage allowed by ordinance, which is 720 square feet, so they are seeking a variance from that. And then their third variance is for the cumulative total of garage door length. The ordinance specifies that it is to be no more than 20 feet, and they are seeking to exceed this standard by 3 feet. We do have, one of the, nope, let's see, sorry, trying new things and it's not quite working out for me today. Hello. As you can see in the provided plan, again, their driveway is off of 14 Mile over here, and they're actually seeking to abandon this driveway and construct a new driveway off of Lincoln Hill. So that would enter directly into their property, and then they would be, turn into the garage over here. And here's overlaid on top of it. It's a little difficult to see, but I need to do something different. All right, sorry. They are, I'm sorry. This is not working the way I want it to, so we're gonna go this way. They are, what they're, so they're seeking to construct a two-story addition, right? Obviously, the main floor is the three-car garage. The second floor would be utilized as additional living space for their family. As you can see in this floor plan, so we've got the garage, right? So the entrance, oh, for God's sakes, this is killing me. I need a mouse. All right, so we've got our very, very basic three-car garage, main floor, stairs on up to that second story, which would then be utilized as living space for the family with bathroom, reading nook, etc. Currently, and I've got some additional pictures that I will show you when I get a hold of my mouse here. Oh my God, great. Sorry, struggling today. Technology's not my friend. This is the view from Lincoln Hills, looking directly, honestly, from where the garage would be situated, or from the driveway. The new driveway would be constructed. Slightly different angle, so you can get a better perspective of what really what the footprint would likely be, close to what the footprint would be. The garage would still be a side entry, so that standard that they're seeking to exceed on the cumulative total, while they are intending to close the driveway off of 14 Mile, technically they're still facing that road, right, as a corner lot. So that is the reasoning for that request. This is the current state of their driveway and entrance from their property. The driveway configuring, this little bump out over here, that would remain. And this section of the driveway closed, and then they've got a plan in place, a landscaping plan in place that they're working on with the neighbor to the immediate west that would allow them to install additional arborvitae screening, so that would further block the view of that extra long garage door length. We did receive, and it was included in your packet, a letter of support from that neighbor for their project.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
the one to the west?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then this is the view looking west, or looking east, I'm sorry. So again, the garage while it would be a little bit larger, it's still fairly well screened with the shrubs in front, and then the additional, like I said, the arborvitaes that are proposed to be installed following the completion of this project, should they be successful here tonight. But I do have the applicant here, and I'll let Mr. Zinsmaster explain his project better for you. But happy to answer any questions.
Susan?
Yep.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay. The 720 square feet restriction, is that a maximum for all properties, or is it calculated based on square footage of living space?
That is a maximum size in the zoning ordinance for all properties. There is a provision within the ordinance that requires that the total square footage of all accessories, which would include your attached or detached garage shed, the total square footage of all accessories cannot exceed more than 50% of the usable floor area of the house. But the 720 square feet is for all properties for garages.
So may I just cover, so we have a lot of three-car garages in this. Why is this unusual in its length and aspect ratio? I guess we're going to get to that.
I don't know how all the other, I can't speak to how all the other garages have been approved, put in place, right? We've seen garages that are three-car that work. We've seen others that don't. I've heard fairy tales of individuals kind of trying to work the system and say, I'm going to do a 720 square foot one, and then they've got another single car that's attached,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I've not personally seen those, but I've heard fairy tales of them, right?
I've heard the same, yeah.
And technically, I mean, if there is, a firewall between those and they are separate, separated in that sense, I guess technically those would be allowed.
Okay.
I believe the 24-foot rule is for front-facing garages only?
It is for garage doors that are facing the street, right? So generally, that's a front-facing, but because this is a corner, it is technically still facing the street, despite their efforts to mitigate that with that landscaping wall, or landscaping edge.
But to your question, Mark, I believe there are garages that are side-facing that exceed, and that's okay according to our ordinance because they're not facing a street.
Of any kind, right, whether it's their lot or their.
Yeah, they'd be facing their neighbor when you're driving
It's
down
for
the street.
the cumulative total of the garage doors, so the actual size, the square footage of the garage, that's a limitation that's within the,
The facing of 24 feet was probably put in place when garage doors were 8 feet.
more than likely, yes.
Now they're all 9 feet, so we face that. But I'm more interested in the 720 versus 899, because I'm trying to figure out what aspect ratio would be 720 here. I'm sorry,
Yeah, at least probably the applicant can probably, but before we jump to that, just real quick, Ms. Steckley, on the variance is asking for 27 feet of garage, correct?
Correct, garage door, yes.
On page 15 of 61, there's a plan view of the garage with the two openings shown, and I'll let the petitioner answer this, but I have to make sure I'm reading this right. I see a 10-foot garage and a 16-foot garage for a total of 26 feet, not 27. So I understand the variance asked is 27, and we can get into this.
27,
The
yeah.
petitioner's available, but top right, the dual garage, two-car is dimensioned at 16 feet, and the one to the west is at 10. So as we're discussing this, we may want to question what what is actually required, or being asked, sorry. Anyone have any other questions for staff?
It'll actually be 27.
Yeah, well, it's got the 8-inch to 10-foot, 8, 16/8.
Pretty wide.
So adding, you're up to 27.
Yeah, 27.6
27.6.
actually.
6 or 27.
During A101?
Well, that, whatever this one is.
Yeah, this is 20, it's the 10.8, and it's 10 feet 8, and then 16.8.
16-foot 8.
Yeah, and then, yeah. It's the same as the northern elevation drawing.
I think there's two different numbers. Is that, I think that's what you see too.
Yeah, what's feet and inches.
We can talk to the petitioner. Any other questions for Ms. Steck from the board?
16 here, 16.8.
Oh, I see.
Petitioner doesn't mind coming up to the podium. You can just introduce yourself, your name and your address for the minutes, please.
Okay, great. I'm Steve Zinsmaster. Our address is 20555 Lincoln Hills Court. So I guess, or specifically for that question, I guess I don't know how the architect did the exact, that was extra 8 on the drawings there, but it was based off of a 10-foot and a 16-foot garage door. So that must, I'd have to directly ask that question, must be 27 feet with additions on the sides of it or something like that. But the doors are 10-foot door and a 16-foot door. So I guess it's slightly under, just by the door size.
Okay.
So I guess it was kind of talked about a little bit here, but what kind of prompted this whole thing, when we first moved in, we realized that this garage was built without thinking of drainage and et cetera. It's about 2+ feet below, if you have to step down from the house into the breezeway and then down again, and then down another step into where the cars come in. And so because of that, over the years, if it rains a lot or any issues with water in that area, the lowest point is literally like in the garage. And so the concrete is kind of crumbled down. We had someone look at it and they said that fixing this would require major redo of the foundation and raising it up, which means we'd have to basically top the garage off. And he said that more or less it would be a better route to just lop the garage off because that foundation needs to be raised up and all of that. So that kind of started us thinking about what we would need to do to redo the garage and the foundation, and then doing the driveway. In that same timeline with when we moved in, we built the sidewalk, or the sidewalk got built on 14 Mile. That was a newer sidewalk, which is awesome. We love it. It gets a ton of use. We use it all the time. But it is a major traffic point, not just from the people using the sidewalk, but if you look across 14 Mile into Bloomfield Hills, that road right there, I'd have to look the exact name of it up, but that is a major cut-through road for a lot of Bloomfield traffic and
Oh, it's Cedar, I think, is the,
Cedar, no.
I use it as a cut-through.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
yeah.
one?
Which is, I mean.
Crosswalk?
Crosswick.
Crosswick.
Crosswick, no, I'm
Crosswick.
thinking the one across the street.
So just for a point of reference, if you want, our house is like immediately across from the golf course, but just a little bit west. And then, so we're pretty close to that, that Birmingham golf course, but Crosswick is then a little bit further west. And basically, because it's a cut-through, our driveway ends up getting used a lot just to because people made the wrong turn or they pull in and turn around. So it's just, in general, I mean, now the boys are a little older at 7 and 10, but it's been a safety issue. We've looked into putting
Crosswick, right.
putting a gate up, and there was issues with, because of our unique shaped lot, our setback is, I think we're 25 feet, and then we have 40 feet, and it's kind of angled with narrower at the front, wider at the back. So it's just, we would have to put the gate so far back that it was not really reasonable to do that. Whereas the neighbor that actually we'd be moving a little bit towards, their lot is an older lot, and they have a 10-foot setback, so they did put a gate actually up there because of that same issue,
Right in
getting turned around into the driveway. So we've talked with them about it, and they have no other option but the gate. But that was then what we were like, well, if we were doing this, we should look into moving the driveway, although it'd be a longer driveway, off into the court where our actual address is. So that kind of was how we talked to the neighbors and went through the whole process. And in the end, it's a matter of if we're cutting off the garage and building a new one, the price differences of building a 3-car garage with more space just for storage and, yard maintenance things. And I mean, right, it's not that much different. So the utility factor would be huge for us for that. And then, like we were saying, with the unique lot, though, and how we were positioned with the big setbacks, we have the issue with the with having the 40-foot side yard, or no, backyard setback, even though it's kind of like a side yard for us. It has a 40-foot setback, whereas the neighbor next to us, where it is their side yard, I think they're 20 feet, if I'm
Sounds about right.
saying correctly.
Yes,
So
15, 20.
right now, where we have, 60 in between, we'd be going a little bit closer to 50. But, so that's kind of our plea, if you will.
Any board members have questions for the petitioner?
I do have one question on, is there a power line that goes right next to the structure there too?
No, well, it is next to it, but it is like equidistant between the two houses. So we plan to move, we have an 8-foot gate we put in there because we put a fence in, and we put 8 feet on that side in order for, if a truck or something had to get back there, you don't not have to dam.
Is there a clearance setback you have to follow for the power lines to the
6
structure?
feet.
6 feet?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'd be much greater than the 6 feet.
Okay.
The 6 feet, I think, is that's the east, or is that the term, east, or?
Yeah, the easement.
Yeah, the
Yep.
easement.
There's a
for the-
requirement, you have to maintain 6 feet from your
On
easement.
both sides, yeah.
Yep. So that, and you
So we
can
would
see
be,
the power
I think,
lines right
30
here.
It would be 20, so it'd be 32, it'd be like 25 or
Well,
6 feet.
is it on the back of the, because like it looks like it goes on your property versus at the edge of the property? If you go to the over,
Yep, so the fence comes to a point there, and that's this far inside the fence. So it's like right on the corner of the
okay,
property line. Whereas, and then that goes in those trees, actual power line, cable lines.
because if you go to whatever the,
Doing it the plot plan.
from the top view, there's one that shows it, that's what I was just concerned with, like that, you have to go back one. And then if you look on the far, if you zoom on the far left there by the edge of the corner of the garage,
Oh, right over here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, let's get out of this.
The other
I'm
picture.
really not liking this setup I got going on today, you guys, I'm sorry.
I guess I don't have the exact measurement.
Yeah, no, I just saw that, and I had to
Oh,
deal
yeah,
with
so,
something
yeah.
similar with my house, so that's why I brought it up of keeping the clearance of the utility would maybe supersede.
Oh, existing fence, yep, so fence, you can't see my cursor on this sucker. So there is almost in line with right here, right, the existing fence comes across through here, and this is the easement line. This dashed line right here, yeah.
So it's, the power lines probably come over.
They come
I wouldn't
across,
be able to say exactly how much, well, I guess we're way farther than the easement, but where the lines are, I'd have to measure exactly above. I mean, I can tell you that the fence, where the fence go, I mean, there would still be a gate, at least the gate width, not below power lines, because there's a bunch of trees there. You can kind of see those trees. They go out a decent amount, and where the gate would be immediately start at the beginning of the
What about here?
garage. Does that make sense?
So it would be approximately here.
Right there, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and, or I know it's a matter of, like we were saying, probably the reason for the lower square footage, or, facing garage doors was presumably because it's, like facing the street, so it's a view like for the, I guess for the rest of the community. But if we do block off that road, we did plan, like we said, to put matching landscaping,
Yeah, makes sense.
either evergreens of something that would eventually grow in enough that it kind of would block it off. I know it's not technically, I guess that's why we need a variance, but that was the issue. And then as far as the garages go, I don't know exactly either, and I know it's not just because someone else did it, we can, but it seems like every house that's built in the area, and we could take a road trip to Devonshire, there's a easily 900 square foot 3-car garage there. So I know that it seems like that is about the size. We weren't doing anything excessive as far as the internal dimensions. The only extra thing that probably added it is about this much of extra space where those stairs
The
are gonna go
stairwell,
up
yeah.
in the back, which adds square footage that's not necessarily like usable square footage, but.
I was still doing the math. You take away the stairwell and even trim it down, you're 200 and some odd feet above the 720 in this case. That's why I'm
Right.
questioning the 720.
Right, is it? Yeah.
Because even if we restricted it, we'd have to make like a 22-foot, take off the side, take off,
Right, then is it functionally 3?
I mean,
Really 2.5, I guess.
would you agree that the narrative that you're probably trying to say is, that you've been told, was that you got to get this done, right? There's no easy fix to the garage foundation, water stuff. No, I like the idea.
Yeah, that's
But if you're
what
gonna,
brought it, yeah.
But if you're going to do it, you might as well add as much square feet for the value of the construction that you're going to do, because you're only going to do it once.
Yes, it wouldn't,
Makes sense.
it would be almost, yeah, right. Pretty much.
Yeah. So me personally, I don't see a problem with the third variance, but the 720 and the 8 feet are really what we're talking about.
We'll get to
Yeah.
more discussion in a moment. Other board members have questions or comments for the petitioner?
Was there any consideration on the height and stuff like that? Was there any restrictions that were close?
Oh, sorry. I don't know if there are official restrictions. I know that the architect we use has done lots of houses in the area, knows a lot of the code. So, he brought these to us right when we proposed it, like this. These are the things that are not going to be, you're not going to fly, or you're going to have go to a meeting. But our goal was kind of to make it not be like an eyesore, like another weird odd like height or building, or looking like it's towering over the main house. So if you look at the elevation drawings, we're making sure that it was slightly smaller or shorter than the main house itself, and that would be those I don't know if that's elevation drawing, that might be the wrong terminology, but
Elevation.
like the side views.
Attached accessories such as this garage are subject to the same standards for the principal house. So in this case, no more than 2 stories, 30 feet.
So we would plan to bring up where actually the cars go in, about this far, but that it's, like I said, so far down that even doing that and raising the height of the garage and having the second floor, it's still decently below the main building.
Other members?
Was there any discussion with your architect, just kind of looking at different options regarding the garage to actually get one that actually fits within your current setback?
Well, there was discussions in that, like, I asked him, well, could we move it closer to 14 Mile? Because we're really far off 14 Mile, 65 feet, I think. But because of that large 40-foot setback there and the narrowness in the front, where that current garage is, it's like built in right in the corner. So if we can't move it we can't move it first to the tree, to the street and in. That was my thought, like, and then the breezeway would be kind of taken out, or it'd be like less length of a breezeway without having an issue with the setback there. And then that was kind of the only possible thought that I had with it. He said that with how the setup is with the lot, like the real only like reasonable way would be to be further into the backyard, or rear setback. There would be no way to do it without having to request a variance, I suppose, is what he was saying. And that seemed like the least obtrusive or odd way to do it. Because it keeps the footprint of the garage, just adds to the side,
There's the 24.
as opposed to moving the whole thing forward and over. Then that would make a lot of the back area have to get more done than it will have to, or would have to. If that makes sense, I don't know if I.
So if
24.
I don't know if you discussed it with your architect or not, but if you had a garage that was at that 720, would that 720 fit neatly within that
No, it'd still
area,
be
or
a
be
little,
still be a
it'd
little
still
bit
be
over?
Yeah.
You know how much, did you tell you how much over?
I don't
So
remember.
the math is,
Yeah.
Well, then it was like, he's like,
at 11 feet.
I'm trying to do it too, yeah.
So if he's going to stay 24 and a half on the depth to capture the stairwell, he'd have to come in 11 feet, which is basically a big two-car garage. Then if he doesn't want a stairwell, I don't know what you do.
Right,
do
that
a
would be
circular thing.
right, yeah.
You-
The cost of doing the garage without the second floor and keeping it the size that it is, he was saying would be so, it's more, obviously, but so close.
Yeah.
He's like, it's unreasonable to do, or it would not
It's marginal,
make as much
it's
sense.
a marginal
Right.
expense, yeah. Because you're going to make the space anyway.
Right.
You're just building it out.
Any other members have comments or questions for the applicant? Got a couple of thoughts. Going back to my original point that, so in the door world, a 10-0-80 door is what we're seeing on the plan view. So the 10-0 is 10 feet 0 inches, 8 feet is 8 feet 0 inches in height. If you scroll up to the top right and zoom in, please, Ms. Steck. I don't want to speak on behalf of your architect, but
Okay.
I think you're only asking for 26 feet, which is 1 foot less
foot
than the
less.
variance you're asking for. So
Right.
as the board's evaluating, just for consideration, with the plans presented, I believe we would be able to give if the board voted to give a variance, you'd only have to give a 2-foot variance, not a 3-foot variance. So just for consideration. But the dimension on the left is 10 foot, the
Right, I
dimension
see.
on the right is 8 foot, or 16 feet.
16, right.
So with that, just first question on the dual car, the 16-foot, using an average width of 8 feet for a garage door, what's preventing you from putting an 8-foot garage as a single door to the west? Why the additional 2 feet?
That was discussed. I do remember talking to him about that. I said the same thing. And he said, well, it's not unreasonable, and you'll see a lot of, especially the older houses that have 3 cars, have those size. They're just less usable. So to get 2 cars into a 16 without something in the middle is much easier than one 8-foot. And so he said, with it being in the far back as the additional single car, if you can get a 10-foot, then it's just for the size of vehicles and, more easily getting in and out. That was why he said for single car garages, he recommends those because of that. I would say the neighbor, like I was saying, to our east or to our west, he has one of the older houses in the area there. I think that was the builder of a lot of the homes around there. And his 3-car garage are the 8-foot, and he's complained about it. So that was the reasoning.
Okay. The breezeway, I believe, is identified as a mud laundry room today. Is that an existing mud laundry room? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there any reason why, Ms. Steck, if you could pan down and to the right, or I guess it's right there. If the larger structure was allowed, what's preventing you from demoing the mudroom laundry area and pulling the garage assembly further to the east so you're not
Right.
encroaching in the easement?
I would say partially we have these bay windows that were there when we moved in that kind of go out, maybe about this 3 feet on that back end of it. So that would be one thing that we wouldn't be able to go up to it. Then the other thing is that we like the functionality of the breezeway being the laundry room and kind of mudroom. It's kind of like, as it says mudroom, like kids kick their shoes off there and kind of get it dirty and whatnot. So with the plans here, we didn't have a thought of moving the laundry either. We'd have to then move it all the way to the upstairs of the garage area, or somewhere in the garage, or into the basement. So that was kind of it. We wouldn't want to move that somewhere else, I suppose. That makes sense.
In your plans, you've got about 5 feet dividing the two doors, and then you have 5 feet on each side of the doors. Did you and your architect look at reducing any of those, whether it's the 5 feet separating the two doors or the 5 feet on the wings to reduce the overall variance request?
I guess in that specific question, I would say no. I think we were using it based on that the current garage has about that much space on the sides. Like, you know how I said it steps down and then it's up? And we use that like edge for storage without, like, beyond the cars. So that was why that was put in there, but we didn't specifically talk about that.
Do you think there's room for you to talk to your architect about reducing some of these things we've discussed in order to reduce the variance request?
Well, I mean, there's always, I guess, room. We really, in order to make it the second floor something that we wanted to, that was kind of some of the reasoning with the size, is it already is brought in on the side where that extra garage space is, with like attic space, and then, so the actual inner portion isn't as big as the garage, if that makes sense. The second floor is much smaller by a few hundred square feet. But I mean, in regard to your question, yes. I mean, there is that lots of things could still be discussed, I suppose, in any situation.
I guess I'll just, for sharing my thoughts, the garage door situation, I think, is, in my opinion, reasonable, right? Because you are separating into two. I understand your feedback on the single garage door being a 10-foot to have clearance, but it feels like the need for this larger space is what's self-creating the second variance to encroach into the yard. And that's where I'm just trying to understand what provisions could have been made to not have such a large variance on the size, which then creates the second variance for what you're allowed to build upon. And
Well, I suppose the size was just looking similar constructed garages in the area. Like I said, the one on Devonshire was the best example, where that just seems like the size of 3-car garages that are being built. So I mean, we'd build a uniquely smaller 3-car, I suppose we could, then I guess we wouldn't be able to build the functional 3-car garage in the same way as current ones are being built.
Yeah.
I suppose.
What I'm struggling with is that we have two, let's just say we have two variance requests. The third one is kind of administrative. And so any effort to, it seems unreasonable, any effort to reduce both if there was some way to design such that one would disappear and that we would be only talking about one variance, to me, it would be a very different story.
I have a proposition there because the house on Devonshire specifically did that with building a firewall. So we could build one at that 5-foot, that middle 5-foot marker, and then it's 2 structures. So there wouldn't be the issue with the square footage.
The garage is the only accessory on site.
Next question.
So, yep.
In each accessory can be 720, as long as it doesn't max out the overall site plan?
Yes.
So then, again, that's, yeah. And that really kind of gets us to one, in a way.
Well,
Since there's an approach to address one, and we're just really looking at the rear setback. And we have a neighbor who's perfectly fine with it.
Okay.
So taking it down to 6 feet or 4 feet doesn't really change anything, other than makes us feel like we did something.
Does anyone else have any comments or questions for the applicant? Okay. With that, I believe, and I know I'll screw this up, think you can have a seat if you.
Okay, yep. Thanks a lot for your time.
I'll open it up for public comment.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Is there anybody here from the public that has comment on this case? Nobody in the public? You wouldn't believe if we could just, if we could approve on beauty and aesthetics, this would be an easy job.
And we did, just to officially note, you did get a letter of support that was included in your packet. I did not receive any other written comments, either snail mail or electronic mail or otherwise, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we will close the case for public comment, and we will have a discussion amongst the board members. This is the part where you talk.
I'll just note that the square foot variance is 37% larger than the allowed, which seems significant. 720 to 989 is 37% excess and nearly 1,000 square foot garage precedent, I don't think is to necessarily be taken lightly. That's quite significant. It's over a third larger than the allowed square footage, but.
We just heard that there was you could mitigate against that by just putting in which again is kind of technical and administrative.
Yeah, sure, but.
But it's within his options to do that, right?
And then, so.
8 feet is really there's nothing to address the 8 feet rear setback.
So then here, this side, where we're looking at this drawing, this side would then be considered part of the main structure because of the firewall, and then on the left hand, that would then be considered the accessory?
Garages, if I may, so garages, whether they are attached or detached, are always considered accessories in our ordinance. Technically, I would think that those would then both be attached accessories.
To attached garages.
Yeah, odd though that may be.
Do we have the square footage of the home?
Yes, the square footage
less the
of the
garage,
home is.
obviously.
2695.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the ratio that you need for the 720 to home ratio?
The total accessories cannot be more than, the total square footage of the accessories cannot be more than 50% of the usable floor area.
That's 1347.
So,
Ish.
and that first stories and above, it does not count the basement.
So this 989, is that this lower level space here alone is 989, and then the square footage in the upper level of the garage space, is that still considered part of the accessory? Is that still the garage?
No, because it's attached, it would be and it will be used as living space, that would be, that would end up being considered as living space to the house, the primary structure.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Others?
Are you sure?
My main issue, and I think you were hitting it on the head, asking the questions about reducing the footprint, it's just the 8-foot seems to be a bit excessive when looking at the total structure, when there's things that could be taking a look at to maybe shorten it a bit to kind of not have that much of a encroachment into the rear setback. And I totally understand and respect the fact that we do have a neighbor who's fine with that. But again, and looking at that, that seems just a bit excessive. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Derek. I was, and I'm trying to look at this logically, like, sometimes when we have multiple variances that we have to adjudicate, it's, it's a lot to think about. And when you bring it down to it, the 720 is, we have an answer for that. The 27 feet, we have an answer for that. The 8-foot, we don't. But anyway, any way to reduce that down, I don't think really, in my mind, it doesn't really solve any problems. It just makes us feel like we did something. So you either have to eliminate it or allow it. Because I think any change in there just also seems sort of onerous or like, too much. And I know this spot, I'll speak on my own behalf, and some of us live close by and been driving by this house for probably 3 owners or 4 owners. I know what that little berm, and I know how it's not even going to be seen. So the driveway elimination makes a great deal of sense, since I live that, and I understand it. And for me, I'm just going to say that I'm going to support this variance, given what the totality of the design and what they're trying to accomplish, and the support of the neighbor to the west who's been there for probably 50 years or more. Yeah, and it's a really exceptional house that I think this is something to support.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think as is, I don't know if I would support it as is, just because of the 3 different variances that you're asking for. That would be the one concern I have of just, it's a lot of things that set a precedence on all of those with the square footage. I mean, we at least meet the requirement of the ratio from the house to the garage, so that's good. I guess my other concern, just because it happened on my own property, figuring out that clearances to the utilities, that kind of stuff, because that can also become an issue. I think mostly it's just asking for 3 at one time is a lot if there's ways to, which like we talked about, there are ways to mitigate some of those.
Thank you. Yes. If you don't mind, please come up to the podium, otherwise the microphone won't catch you and you'll get yelled at by the AV department.
I mean, if it's a matter of 3 variances to 1 variance, the one that really would make it so we're like, well, we're not going to do this is probably the setback issue more than anything, because we can put up the firewall that gets rid of 1 request, and we can, like the architect was saying, it's not ideal to have the 8-foot single if you can get the 10-foot is just customarily now what's more commonly made. But if we move that down, then it would be just the 1 request.
Well, I think
Just as a
what
thought,
you're hearing,
yes,
I think if you built 2 accessory structures, attached garages, put a firewall in between, you still need that variance into the setback is.
Right, that's the one we
That would not.
need regardless, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm I want to say I'm torn. I have mixed thoughts. On one hand, it's a beautiful rendering. I would love to have property built like this, but I don't. And I think, it's thoughtful, it's tasteful, and I love the fact you're getting the traffic off 14 Mile for both your family and for the community. I think the intent is great. I am struggling with the oversized request for the building itself to then create the second variance to go into the setback. And there's often times like this where we will, as a board, ask you if you're interested. There might be a motion to approve, there might be a motion to deny, we don't know. We can also do a motion to table.
I've been in, not zoning board stuff, but meetings like this with Robert's rules, et cetera. Is there an approve in part and deny in part situation? 'Cause,
Yes. They can approve it as is, they can deny it as presented. They could approve, with conditions. They can say yes to this and no to that, and yes to that too, right? So they just cannot
didn't know if it was
exceed
going to be
the
I have to
request.
say you have to approve or not. I didn't know if.
No,
And we
they just can't approve more, they
More than
can't
was
give you
requested.
more than what you've asked for, right? So,
Okay, well then that was, I guess, my question.
Yep.
To answer.
The challenge becomes is if a motion to approve is made and it's voted down, then a motion to deny would come across, and then you wouldn't have any flexibility to come back before the board for a similar design for a duration of time,
a year, I think it
a
is.
year.
A year or two.
But there's also the option to table the matter till the next meeting and ask you to go back to your architect and try to come up with a design that isn't so extensive in variance requests. So as we will,
So can I not say?
if you don't mind, if you want to stand up at the
Back to the
podium, you don't keep sitting down, you're going to
I
get
know.
extra steps.
Stand up, sit down, fight.
Yeah,
Sorry about
no,
that.
okay, I get it. So can I say I would, I don't know, I mean, I understand, we keep using the term excessive with the size. To me, it didn't seem that excessive looking at, actually smaller than a lot of the places that are the newer builds that are getting built. So we were trying to be reasonable with the 3-car sizing. But I do understand it does go into the setback, and then it does request that variance with the square footage, and then requests the variance with the front door. So I would be willing to allow a vote if we can, if the option of approve in part and deny in part is considered. If that makes sense to you.
It sort of does. It's not really a matter of what, forgive my terms, if you allow a vote or not. What I'm trying to suggest is that, you've requested, so we've got your applicant. As a board, we're trying to do what's best for the community and yourself, and suggest that perhaps you would have, just based on the comments and feedback, you may have more board support if you had less of a variance request. And when I say excessive, my term excessive is in reference to the ordinance. That's all I know. I believe you. There's stuff all over the place, whether it was built pre-ordinance or with variance. I can't comment.
They did it, so we can type thing.
But all we can compare it to is the actual ordinance. When I say excessive, it's exceeding what's allowed by the ordinance.
Right.
For clarity, however, if he comes back, for instance, he asks us to table it, he comes back and the architect draws up a picture with a firewall between those two pieces, does that variance go away? Even if it's at 989?
He would reduce the variance for a 720-foot accessory structure, but he would still need the variance pushing into the setback.
Yeah.
And that's.
So he could come back with a design that would have a setback of 6 feet, or maybe 5 feet, but.
Right.
I'm just throwing out ideas, but,
And
you know, if we vote on it, you don't get another chance. If we table it and you come back with a different design.
Well, I think when we did talk about making it a three-car garage, it was going to require a setback variance request.
It's 11 feet.
It's because we have 40 feet, because it's technically rear yard, even though it's kind of our side yard, as opposed to 20 feet in that area of a typical side yard. So it's kind of a unique dimension of
The
the
garage would-
property and where
Yeah.
it's sitting. So that, he was saying the setback request was going to be needed regardless. There's the other things were kind of put on because we were making it three-car, and then, so I would say, I mean, could come back, but there would still be the setback request regardless. So,
But we make a motion. If he makes a request, we make a motion.
well, we here is, we're asking if he's interested in coming back and to the table with a different site plan. And then if we thought, yes, we could, one of us would make a motion to table.
Sorry.
So trying to
I'm unclear
gauge.
what he's trying to tell us, though.
oh, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm not sure coming back for another meeting will change, it won't change the request, my request for the setback variance, and that's the main.
Could it be reduced? Can you reduce it from the 8 feet that you're asking for by making adjustments in your floor plan?
I would say it could be. Like, yeah, I mean, I could move it a little bit. We could make it, I mean, a 10-foot request or a 6-foot request, but we would definitely have to do a variance request to make it a three-car. That was the main thing.
Okay, so would you like us to go ahead and proceed with the meeting as per the agenda and take action tonight, or do you want to?
I think so. Because as I was, because as I'm saying, I guess the biggest variance request issue that I'm getting here is just that we're requesting to move into the setback, and it's a 40-foot setback on our side yard, even though it's technically the rear yard. So regardless, I guess we would have to make that request. And so I guess, yeah, to my mind, making it a 5-foot request versus an 8-foot request doesn't change, I guess, the spirit of our request, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Change the result.
Okay, back to the board. Any other comments based on the second round of conversations with the applicant? Any strong thoughts? Or general thoughts? Any thoughts at all?
I think looking at, making the modification to what was discussed would show that, that's changing a little bit and would reduce what's being asked for, because it's still being asked for as the full 3, from what I understand, all 3 variances are still being asked for at this point.
So I feel that if we proceed, that if he doesn't take the tabling, he's going to hear a motion of denying tonight.
Okay.
That's what I'd recommend, it be tabled, but that's not my choice. It's yours.
It is still my choice.
It is our choice. Yeah.
You're giving me the choice to decide if I want to table it or not.
Well, we had asked earlier, and you said you didn't.
I guess I wasn't sure if you were saying like.
One more time, please. What I'm
I guess I wasn't sure if
suggesting
you were
is you
like-
can't tell the board's not
Right.
unanimously in agreement, I think, based on comments to approve.
Okay.
So it may be in your best interest to acknowledge that we table it today. You get with your architect, ask for ways to reduce the maximum size variance, to reduce the setback
Right.
variance, and that perhaps, and it's not, I can't guarantee, I'm not saying the board will approve anything, but you may be in better position if you had a less variances or less extent to your variances.
Okay, so just decreasing the feet of the variance request would be,
Could make a difference.
Could.
Also doing
okay.
the divider and stuff like that would show that you're changing what the layout is, because right now you're asking for the full variance.
You're reducing the request.
You're reducing the request by adding the firewall because now
Right.
it's 2 accessories. Those are all things that would make it less of
Okay.
a standing that we're making of
Well,
saying yes.
I guess I'm just thinking of not wasting another meeting time. Can I like propose to change my request to get rid of the 2 variance requests?
Tonight? Or,
Yeah, and then it'd be just the 1?
yes, right?
Yeah, as long as we
Yeah.
got it on the record.
Does that,
He's agreeing to change his application.
Yep.
ZBA can, but doesn't have to.
no, I mean, and I don't want to do it if you guys don't think that is reasonable. I'm trying to be reasonable, like you're saying.
I think
and
we're
I'm
giving
trying to
you
do
a
it,
hint
like, I
about
guess
what
now,
to do.
but-
That's what we're trying to be
Yeah.
very, without being completely direct, we're trying to encourage you to do something.
Okay,
I also think it sounds like you would like to amend your request, and tabling it gives you an opportunity to amend the request and tell us what you ultimately want after having an opportunity to consult and get, let's say, an updated drawing and ensure that what you're asking for can be achieved with these new changes.
right. Okay, then sounds good.
Thank you.
It's okay.
All right, so
Can I make a motion to table this until,
you could make a motion to table this. Would you like to make?
I would like to make a motion to
I'll
table this case.
I will second the motion.
I'll third it.
We have a motion to table case number 1441 to allow the petitioner to go back and look at potentially reducing the quantity and magnitude of the variances. Did I say that correctly?
Sounds good to me.
It was seconded by Mr. Miller, I believe.
And third.
I don't think we count thirds.
It's just for fun.
All those in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone opposed, say no. Okay. We have, the motion is approved. We'll table this until an upcoming meeting. So thank you for the back and forth.
I don't know what to expect of these things.
And neither do we. We just show up here every week. Or month, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
No, I don't.
And you're welcome to stay and enjoy the rest of the meeting as well, or Ms. Steck will be in contact?
Yes, I will touch base with you tomorrow, Wednesday, one of these very soon days, right? And we'll go over all the things.
Okay.
Words are not, no words today.
Next up in the agenda, we have case number 1442 at 16214 Lockerbie Avenue. Ms. Steck, if you could please present.
Yes, all right. Back to my technical issues with my PowerPoint. All right, so this request, we have the applicant here with us this evening. She is seeking to install a 6-foot vinyl privacy fence to match the 2 existing legs on her property. This is a variance from section 46-173 sub 1 sub B, which states vinyl/PVC may only be used for fences which are up to 4 feet in height and have an opacity of at least 35%. The applicant is, she abuts Our Lady Queen of Martyrs, the access drive right here, Kinross. This previously, she previously appeared before the Zoning Board of Appeals back in 2017. This is what was installed following that meeting. The fence standards have changed since the original fence was installed here. The fence standards changed late summer, fall. There was extensive discussion by Planning Commission and Village Council specifically on 6-foot white vinyl privacy fencing. And it went back and forth quite a bit. I want to say over the course of probably about 4 months. I included those meeting minute excerpts for those of you that may be interested. But really I'll sum it up by saying there was not unanimous support on either board really about making updates to fence standards. However, there was, and as part of the Planning Commission's discussions regarding privacy fencing overall, they really did not like vinyl as a material due to its brittleness, long-term brittleness, and they did not feel it was as durable as other materials such as composite or wood that were on the market. And in terms of the color white, there is provision within those fence ordinance standards that say that fencing, 6-foot privacy fencing, should be of a neutral color palette. And there was a whole lot more agreement regarding 6-foot white vinyl. But nevertheless, so those standards, those are the new standards. The previous standards from when the fence was originally installed did allow for white vinyl privacy fencing. That was still under those, under the 200-foot rule, or there were some other limited situations for where you could have 6-foot privacy fencing in general, abutting non-residential or commercial or institutional uses was a reason for getting a fence, for a 6-foot privacy fence. So the 6-foot privacy that you see here, that was installed back in 2017. And actually, I'm going to go to this picture. So this is a little bit further west along Kinross, looking toward in the direction of the applicant's property. This is the closer up view. There is, and you can see it over here on the far east side. She's got. It's 4-foot white vinyl fencing on the eastern leg, so it would just be this western leg of fencing that she is seeking to install, matching 6-foot privacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where we see the open space with the chain link, that's where it's going?
Yes, it is. It starts here in the corner with the bamboo, right? There's a little bit of bamboo, and then it extends here. The existing chain link is that. I believe that's all the way through. And then those are her arborvitae as well to provide additional screening.
So in 2017, this was okay, but today there's a change?
Correct. Well, and she did have to go before the ZBA for the 6-foot fencing.
Did?
Yes.
In 17?
In 17.
Because it was more than 4 feet?
Yes, because at the time it was, you could only do 4-foot fencing, whether it was chain link, wrought iron, vinyl. 4 foot was the maximum height.
Capacity didn't matter, material didn't matter, it was 4 feet across the board. 4
feet across the board. Their application in 2017 was for solid privacy. You can see in this picture that it's got a bit of a picket to it. There is a level of opacity in there, and that was one of the concessions the applicant made in her previous appearance before.
Was it also granted because it's facing non-residential space?
I have to imagine that was part of it. the meeting minutes weren't, I mean, it's in there, right? It's only so much you can glean from some of those minutes, but that is a reason to,
So we're going to complete the project.
yes, she would like to complete that western leg with matching.
I can look at a site survey, I can look at utility drawings, and I can get it. But the fence ordinance, I still feel like it's way over my head sometimes. And it shouldn't be that way.
I still don't understand.
So, today, a 6-foot fence is permitted,
Right, yes,
but not PVC,
correct,
specifically white PVC.
correct.
And it's allowed in the side yard fence line in addition to the rear.
Correct.
So if the petitioner was to put up in one of their illustrations a 6-foot wood fence, they would not be here today.
Correct.
If they painted it white, they wouldn't be here today.
Correct.
Okay. Once again, just a reminder, this is why we encourage comments in the meetings, right? Because April 10th, 2017, the meeting minutes don't have a lot of support or feedback from the board as to why the motion was made. So in another 9 years, someone might be looking at one of our cases, and your input is appreciated.
We were.
All right. Any other questions for administration?
Yeah, I have a question. So the new part, what part of the old fence will be abutting? The 4-foot or the 6-foot or
The 6
neither?
foot, so let me
Okay.
go back to, so it would be abutting right here. Hello. come on.
Right, like where the wood is?
Yes.
Bamboo.
Trying to find,
Yeah.
right here.
Right there.
So it would be the 6 foot, and that would run the length of the property up to the rear building corner.
Not
Rear-
encroaching the front yard?
Nope, we're not going into the
Okay.
front yard or the side yard, just to the rear.
Is it both sides or just the one side? Is the other 4-foot getting, because there's a 4-foot on the other side, right?
Right.
Correct.
The 4-foot staying, just adding the 6-foot on that one side.
Well, let's just finish up with comments for Ms. Steck, and then we'll, sorry. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
With that, if the applicant could come up to our podium, and please give your name and address for the record, and
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me. Sarah Thomas, 16214 Lockerbie. Yeah, back in 2017, it wasn't in there, but it was really just based on the amount of traffic that goes through, young kids seeing directly into the backyard, and it was granted for those reasons. I did ask for a plain vinyl at that time, didn't know the ordinance to the detail of required, so I said, sure, fine. The gapping was fine, and it was addressed. And now all I simply want to do is finish the project. We have a lot of people that walk by every single day or drive through. And it's one thing when people walk by your front of the house, but the traffic through the back, it's just uncomfortable having that many people being able to see into your yard. It used to be covered more. My neighbor, where the fence was, they had a lot of overgrown, like just garbage trees, essentially. They removed all that, so now you can see it even more. The bamboo reason was because the overgrown was coming into our yard. There was poison ivy that would come through, so we were trying to limit it as much as we could. It's not ideal. It's an eyesore. I want it gone. But really, ideally, we just want to try and cut it off so people can't see into our yard as much as they can right now. It's just an uncomfortable feeling when so many unknown people could simply hop the fence, come right in our yard, do whatever they want to do. It's just a really uncomfortable feeling, and having the 6-foot fence would at least distract that more than it is today. And yes, you said you could have wood. To me, I just would like it all to match. I've spent a lot of money on fencing, and I would like to complete it. I also quoted composite. Composite is really expensive, right? It's $10,000 more to do the project, and it wouldn't match. To me, it would just seem like, for a neighborhood feel, that it would be better if it all matches. That would be the ideal request. And I've asked all my neighbors, and they've all been overwhelmingly happy with it. I think one sent in an email today, and I've got responses from the other two as well that have no issue with installing it.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, that normally quiet access road's been quite busy.
It's super busy, yeah. It's just too much, and we have dogs, and that's part of the bamboo, to try and like not have the dogs barking all the time, right? But they just see people all the time, and it's just constant, so I'm just trying to distract it. We've tried arborvitaes, even those ones there are dying. If you can see all the rock, our yard floods, so we had to put French drain systems in and dug, I think, 6 feet deep, added concrete and rock to help with the water because it was just a flooding issue. So nothing's been able to grow back there because they just get overwhelmed with water and have died out. So we've tried that, and I spent a lot of money on arborvitaes, and I feel like these ones are just a matter of time because they're all turning brown inside as well. So something is just not working in the soil, which is why we asked for the 6-foot privacy as well, because same thing, we tried arborvitaes and everything was dying. And with just the amount of money you spend in them, they're really expensive to not have a longevity, at least where we are. Some people are successful, something with our yard, it's just not quite working.
You may have led into this with your comment about the neighbor's previous growth, but is there a reason why you didn't ask for this in your previous variance in 2017?
Well, it wasn't allowed, 6 foot along the side, so I didn't even try to do it, and we just didn't have the money then, to be very honest, right? I mean, it's expensive to put in that amount of fencing, and then we had to do so much work just to like stop with the flooding and all that, and we had 2 young boys, it just wasn't the right time, and now we're in just a different situation. They just got rid of the overgrown stuff, so it's just way more visible, and now seems like the right time to do it.
Any comments or questions for the applicant from board members?
The neighbor right next door that had the overgrown, they were okay with the variance and everything else too?
Yep.
I know that you said that the arborvitaes are expensive, but did you get a quote? Like, did you have like a architecture engineer come out to just?
I did back in
Give you a-
2017. I'd have to go back and look at it, but at that time, we had put them in before and they all died out
Yeah, how
in that
many
area.
would you need?
Oh, my God, more than 20
15?
probably?
More than 20?
20, I
They're
think it
usually
is in
about
that area. But now
about
I can't even
$500
put them in now because the amount of
I know,
like,
but-
if you, French drain systems, right? Like, to get into that now is, I mean, you're digging into like essentially 6 foot down rock and stone, right? And it wouldn't help with the flooding, right? And I want to use my yard, so even if we had the arborvitaes, I still have flooded grass all the time. So it didn't work. That's why we have the rock there, because it's been the only thing that's helped that corner with flooding.
I've seen it.
Other questions? Okay, thank you. You can have a seat unless you have to come back up for another round. We'll open for public comment. Is anybody here in the public like to comment on this case? Okay.
And just to note, we did receive an email earlier this morning that I forwarded on to you all from the neighbor indicating that she is in support of the white vinyl privacy.
The neighbor to the west.
Yes, I believe that's the one. Let's see, she did not leave her address.
She's on the other side,
Hey.
where the 4 foot is.
Okay.
She's on the east side then, you said, right?
Well,
Bigby.
depending which way you, yeah. So not the immediate, not where the fence is.
Not where the fence is going, but the opposite.
Where the current vinyl is.
But that neighbor did get notified of the hearing and didn't provide comment
Yes,
either way?
immediately
Okay.
to the east, and she did receive the notice.
Okay.
I did have a phone call with another individual that had received the notice. They did not want to leave their name or provide any written comments, but that was the only other inquiry that I had. You're just really curious about what they were doing, so.
Okay. Thank you. With that, we'll close public comment and return the topic to the board. Fellow members.
That's why I want fence.
I know it's not grandfathered in, but given that she already has two sides of the white PVC, I think it's an undue hardship to have her replace all of it so that it all matches. And I'd be inclined to approve it.
Thank you.
I guess what does approving is, what does this set the precedence of 6 feet white vinyl fences?
Our action tonight does not change the ordinance or set precedent for other cases. We look at each one on a case-by-case basis.
You feel like, okay.
Oh, I was just going to add that I think the factors weigh in favor, like, this is pretty unique that she was approved previously by the board for the 6-foot PVC, and now trying to complete the property's boundary line.
It's now undue.
It's like a one-off, I think.
Especially matching the fence so it interconnects correctly, that kind of stuff. I would feel in the same thing if the variance was given before, it's adding on to this existing project. I think I asked it, but the one that property, they responded or did not respond? That's going on that?
They did not respond.
Okay. But they were notified and everything else, and there's just no comment?
No comment, yep.
But I thought the 6-foot was because it was butting up to a business or church, whatever, correct? The other side's only 4 feet. I do have a neighbor behind me that has a 6 feet, but it's 4 feet, and then the top is lattice, so you can see through. That's my only issue, is that the 6 feet, the way that it's presented, is because it butted to the business. I understand the seeing through, and I don't know that a 4-foot would be enough to prevent that, but is it the lattice? That used to be an ordinance issue, like you could have a 6-foot as long as the top was lattice to see through?
Nope, it was 4 feet.
It was 4 feet
It was 4
prior.
feet.
My neighbor's in trouble.
Yeah, so we're not,
It was 4 feet, and there was very specific instances where you could have a 6-foot fence, right? Like, are you abutting a commercial or non-residential property, which this is, right? Are you, there was, if your rear property line or your property line was along 13 Mile, Southfield, Evergreen, some of the major roads. It's why, the Huntley neighborhood over here, everybody's got privacy fences, right? Like, that was one of those conditions. There was also the 200-foot rule, right? Like, if your neighbor, if there's a property within 200 feet of yours on the same block, same materials, the whole 9 yards, like, then you could say, well, I'm subject to the 200-foot rule and kind of piggyback off of that approval. So there was and like the other one was if you couldn't get landscaping to grow, right? So there were very specific instances for how and when you could have a 6-foot fence, period, under the previous guidelines or standards.
See through the upper part of the
The other fun part of the fence ordinance was the 35% opacity, right? So that is the visibility, right? And so generally, most people can imagine it as, chain link is and has been acceptable. The aluminum, wrought iron looking metal acceptable. Conventional picket fence, like what you think of when you think picket fence, that meets that 35% opacity, right? The split rail fencing. So that was the other significant part of the fence ordinance standards.
Can I ask a question? So like with that original variance, PVC fence was allowed during that variance?
Yes.
That is then changed because the fence ordinance has changed, so PVC is no longer allowed.
Correct.
So at the first variance, that was the option, is to go to PVC. Now that is not an option. And then the 6-foot fence was not allowed at the time of her variance, and now that is allowed. So you're just flip-flopping. Okay. So it's it's a very weird one.
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
You need complicated circuiting drawings for your job.
Gotta go to the village.
Just,
But yet the fence ordinance seems to always get us.
It's very confusing.
I mean, that alone, just like the flip-flop of the ordinance in that sense makes it, I feel a little more in tune to allowing something like this, because at the time of the variance, they followed the variance with what they were given, and now we've changed the variance and to match the existing fence and make it look consistent. I think this is very unique in that sense of, she was, meeting the standards at the time, but now we have changed the standards, and you have an existing fence, and to be able to interlock that and make that work as a system, a lot of times butting two different fences together, just from my background, is not always the best.
But she's got the 4 feet on the other side.
The 4 feet, yes, but that's still a PVC.
I understand.
Way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that side's
But the 6
not
foot is now
exposed to a
allowed.
road is the issue, right? If you put 4 foot up, this side, the
Road
road
down.
is coming through, you hit the trees and you turn left north. So the 4,
The road goes out, so there's
Here, let me,
there, and then her house backs up, so her garage pretty much comes in.
Right, so-
Yeah, see how it turns there?
Oh, gotcha.
So
Okay.
the 4 foot does a good job keeping the neighbors,
On that side.
but here,
But the walking traffic and driving. Let everyone in.
and I appreciate the comment that nothing's grandfathered, right? But I mean, I think it would be a disservice to the homeowner and the community looking at the fence off Kinross to be looking at two different materials.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion if you would allow it.
I can't disallow it.
There you go.
how about like as presented, like a few more words there?
I'm going to say a few more words. I move to grant the variance requested by Sarah Thomas at 16214 Lockerbie Avenue. This is CBA case number 1442, relating to section 24012511010, to deviate from the section 46173(1)B and permit the installation of a 6-foot white vinyl picket fencing that matches the existing fencing on the north and east property lines. This determination is based on the findings that the petitioner has demonstrated a practical difficulty exists based on the following criteria. Applying the strict letter of zoning restriction will unreasonably prevent the landowner from using their property for a permitted purpose, and/or conformity with the zoning regulation is, in fact, unnecessarily burdensome. Substantial justice would be achieved for the applicant and neighboring property owners by granting the variance, and approval of the variance would not be negatively impacting adjacent property owners or land within the district. The requested variance is the least relief required. The situation is unique to the subject property, not related to the general conditions of the area. And finally, the circumstances requiring the variance are not self-created.
Am I allowed to ask a question in between that? Sorry.
I
Got a second,
think
Got a second
we
motion.
should take,
If you make me reread it, I will.
I don't want to do that.
so Mr. Barron has made a motion to approve. Is there a second for the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Motion is seconded. Before we vote, there's a question.
I just have the question of, we're doing the exact same fence of the original one, so there's no variation of that type. Okay. As long as it's not changing the type of fence and things like that, that would be, okay.
The sample motion that Mr. Barron read was installation of a 6-foot white vinyl picket fencing that matches the existing fencing on the north and east property.
Sorry, thank you.
All right,
One second and two.
let's take a vote on the motion, please.
Okay, Chair McCarr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rott,
Yes.
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Ms. Polemeni,
Yes.
Ms. Caputo,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Rusaw,
Yes.
Ms. Stroker,
Yes.
and Ms. Tomich.
Yes.
All approved.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
I will touch base with you tomorrow or Wednesday, whichever day I get to it real quick.
Fantastic PowerPoint presentation on our own fencing ordinance.
I learned a lot. Yeah, it was, thanks for the help. She was great, so thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, up next on the agenda, under new business, we have case number 1443 for the home at 20065 Plantation Lane. Ms. Beck, if you could present, please.
Yeah, all right. So next up, we have another setback. We have another construction project before us. The applicant is, the applicant is seeking to construct a two-story addition to their home. They are also a corner lot. They're at the corner of Plantation and Evergreen Road, which is just south of 13 Mile. You can see where they're at right here. They are requesting, they're actually requesting two variances. One is for the corner lot setback on the side street, which requires a setback from the side street equal to the minimum front setback for the zone district in which the building is required. So the schedule of regulations requires 40-foot setback for both the front and the side yards. So technically, really, this is just one variance request, I'm sorry. So they, as I said, they are seeking to construct a two-story addition. The existing home is 1,726 square feet. It was constructed back in 1956, and it sits on just under an acre. It is zoned RA. The addition is to create more living space for their growing family, which we got to see some of them, right? So I can understand why. So they are requesting, sorry, I'm all over the place here. They are requesting a 5-foot variance on the Evergreen side of the property. And here, since I cannot get my act together with this, let me blow this up. So, as you can see, so they're doing actually two additions to their home. I'll call this the first addition. They're really filling in some existing space. This does not impact their variance request whatsoever. I just want to make sure that you are aware that that is happening. Their addition is entirely proposed for the east side of their property. Again, they have the 40-foot setback, which is this dashed line right here. I promise I'll have a better presentation going for the next time. And then they do meet the 40-foot setback off of Plantation. So the setback is a little bit further up. So they've got plenty of room out front. They meet that, no problem. It's just the 5 feet on the side. It is really intended so that they can utilize the existing hallway for their request, or for their addition, and they're able to maximize their space. So they're adding a main floor master suite and a utility room, and then the second story is 3 new bedrooms and a bath to accommodate their family. They have provided a brief narrative, answers for why they're seeking the variance. This is direct front view of the home. This is the area in which the addition would be constructed if they're granted the variance this evening. And this is from looking west from Evergreen Road. One of the narrative answers they provided in terms of how this would not negatively impact the adjacent neighborhood is that this would actually help screen the interior lots of the property. And then just a little bit closer view if you would like to see that.
Do you have a measurement of the lot line to the street?
The lot line to the street, yes. Hold on. And I could have sworn I had the elevations in there, and I can pull those out for you guys.
The second is that I don't know if this is going to come up, but the neighbor to their north, across the street, their building seems to be in a different orientation to the lot, like it looks awfully much closer to the street.
Let's see, so it is 50 feet to from the front corner of their home to their lot line.
Yeah.
And then it is, oh gosh, it's a really wide right-of-way over there.
It looks like it's about 40 feet even to the street.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, to your point, the 20064 property is much further to the east.
they have, and I'll pull up a map here, a different map, so we can see that, but the property to the south has the same, it's like the opposite orientation.
Kind of a mirror.
Yes, yes. We don't care about what's new in Chrome today.
Yeah.
Well, they have the sidewalk too.
Yeah, it's hard to tell on here, but it's easier here. You can see there. Yes.
Yeah, the home to the north, it appears to be set slightly at an angle, but it's definitely more directly facing Plantation Lane than the subject property.
Yeah, but the building itself is about 20 feet closer to the setback.
If you pan the satellite towards the right, you get closer to no other way. So I always script the word pan, but go the other direction. Just put the edge of the property line of the house to the north against your cursor, your right side of your frame. It's
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, if you cheated or even a little bit more.
Yeah. This property
Yeah.
to Evergreen is much closer than this property.
Yes, potentially here.
Assuming they have the same setback.
Stole one of my points, Mr. Barron.
No, we collaborated.
Street actually carries
Get all
over
the
a little
credit.
bit too.
Just your Vanna White.
right.
This actually curves this way towards that.
Anything else?
That is it
Okay.
for me.
Just to clarify, they're asking for one variance, but you said at the beginning it was
Yes.
two, but it's kind of one because it's a schedule of application, I think you said?
I gave you a really long-winded, yes, I gave you a long-winded lead into that. It's really just it is a variance from the schedule of regulation that requires that 40-foot setback.
But otherwise, the home complies square footage-wise, building-wise.
Yes.
There's no other variances being asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone from the board have questions for Ms. Steck?
I have a question. The setback goes from, the side setback goes from the building to the property line, not like to the sidewalk, right?
Correct.
So there's an additional amount of space between the property line and the sidewalk. and then an additional amount to the street.
Yes. I'm trying to get I'm trying to find the overall right-of-way width for you for Evergreen. I believe we're at like 100, I believe it's 100-foot right-of-way in that area. It gets a little wonky because directly across the street is Southfield, so their lines are a little different. But the applicant is here to answer any.
Sorry, I thought you were, I zoned out looking at a previous.
Nope, zoned out too, right?
Sorry, thank you.
You know, just a point of clarification, because I remember this, and Andrew, you're here, because this came up with your, like, when you have a property that is back-to-back corner lots, there's a different setback than there is if there's a corner lot that has others.
Yes, and
Like,
it's
so why is this 40?
because they both have, so this side
Because of the
facing
orientation-
Evergreen,
Because of
right?
the orientation of the houses?
It has to do with the orientation of the house and what the setback of the adjacent properties. So they both have, this property has an interior lot, right? So 40-foot setback, right? To the west. Technically, the other interior lot is to the south, right? And so they both have that 40-foot setback. They're maintaining that same 40-foot setback because that house to the south also has an interior lot to the west that has that same 40-foot setback. So it's...
It's clear as mud.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
In there.
So the setbacks to the side yard towards Evergreen is,
This is a unique situation. The spirit of it is that the side lot doesn't encroach on the neighbors, right?
So you don't end up
That
with
doesn't
like...
allow them to, like, to overshadow them, but then the house to the north of them is, overshadowing them.
The house to the north isn't an abutting interior lot to them, though. They're across the street,
Okay.
right? The house to the south is their abutting interior lot, as is the house directly to the west of them.
And there's no house that's facing in between, that faces Evergreen in between.
Correct. To these guys, it's a little wonky.
Okay.
It's wonky. That's why we're here.
Okay. The applicant's ready if we're done with questions?
I sure
from
hope
this
so.
side? Do you mind coming up to the podium and
Come on
say
over,
your
Alex.
name and address for the record? And if you could please walk us through any points to your request.
Alex Brannigan at 20065 Plantation Lane. And I brought my architect as well.
Robert Kozlowski, I reside at 43 Macy Lane, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, and I'm in the design professional that's facilitating this hopefully the build.
Thank you. Could you give some background on the house, what you're doing, any uniqueness to the property?
My family's growing currently, and we love the area, and we'd like to stay there. And to do that, we need to build an addition. And as Susie mentioned, there's a hallway that we would like to utilize to then go to the addition. And just kind of based on the angle and kind of the footprint that we're looking to add, the bedrooms, for it to be natural, a little bit more space makes it a little bit more natural instead of feeling like a very narrow hallway into a different building, which it, is a renovation, but we want to try and make it feel as natural as possible.
My thoughts were, looking at the orientation of the house in respect to the lot, this was the best location for this improvement, this alteration, just because it's already off of existing kind of the bedroom wings. It gives them privacy in the backyard from the road, cuts down the road noise. I was walking a lot today with my client, just a lot of road noise back there, and they're planning on making the backyard kind of real kid-friendly because they have two young children and a dog. And I actually considered trying to work the space without having to request a variance, because that's always my first plan. You know, to me, it just makes sense if I can get the addition to work without having to go for a variance. That's my first course. But when I really started looking at that, there just wasn't enough room to accomplish the scope of what they were trying to achieve, other than basically moving the new structure into the existing structure. And in my book, it's like I'm crashing forms, and I just didn't want to do that, because I really felt with this brick style, it's pretty basic brick style ranch, so we're going to kind of keep the addition along the same scope of design as far as the hip roof, the roof pitches, and try to keep a low profile, but we want it to do it where it'll accent the house and it won't look like an addition. And using some of the similar materials, some of the stone that's on the house, I think it's going to be, a nice project if we can stay on this course. Any questions from the board?
Yes. Board members, any questions for the applicant?
Is this a two-story addition?
Yes.
Yes.
In your layout, I see like the 3-foot hall, 4-foot stairs, and a 3-foot-8 walkway. Can you kind of walk us through? Because that seems to be the defining factor of keeping the hallway and clearances to jut out the extra 5 feet. Can you kind of walk us through that?
At the existing plan, and I don't know if Susie was able to put that in there or not, but there's closets in that area, between those 2 bedrooms. So basically, trying to maintain, some of the space in those rooms, I just kept that hallway at 3 feet because there's no doorways or anything that I had to get in there. It's minimal. It would be nice to have it a little wider, but in this case, we're kind of painted into a corner. And then once we go into the addition, just wanted to create like an interior foyer as a nice feature, because, there are no stairways in the house itself. And in a lot of these homes, especially when we're just adding bedrooms to it, my client also, had mentioned the fact that he would like to highlight the staircase and make it a feature. So by coming into that back hallway, we kind of opened it up. It's going to be, where that landing is going to be kind of a 2-story area, and there's going to be windows that are going to be stacked on the corner. And that'll bring a lot of light into that back part of the home, which will also help with that hallway that's going down into the master bedroom. And then we've got some additional storage space that we added under the stair, because the home's on a crawl space, and we don't have a basement. We're not proposing to put a basement under this new structure. And then the client, for, their own personal need, they wanted, a decent-sized bathroom with a nice large shower, which we've accomplished here. We also need to add an additional mechanical room because the existing furnace won't support the additional square footage. And then we're going to take that laundry room and expand it over to that new wing, so that'll give them a lot of usable, space in that high-use area. And then we've got some decent closet space. And then upstairs, we've got lots of room for the boys, and possibly a 4th bedroom if they decide to have another child, along with some additional storage.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? For myself, 18 by 18 is a fairly healthy sized master suite. Right? 16 by 14-ish might be, I guess really there's no normal, right? But what I'm going to ask you is, Ms. Steck, could you go to page 54? It has like the red line weight. The drawing just orientated a little differently. No, one before that, one more.
Is the wall along the stairwell, that angle is actually the angle
Of the property line.
of the property line?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what twists you up.
Maybe you have a different one than the.
I don't have the elevations in here.
Oh.
I can,
I guess my question is, if you were to reduce the master suite depth towards Evergreen, so instead of being 17'8" towards the walk-in closet, if you pulled the bathroom from being a dual vanity and made it a single vanity, reduced the utility room, could there be efforts made to reduce the width of the addition so that you're not encroaching in the setback? Could you walk us through maybe why the overall width needs to be 25 feet 4 inches?
Well, the 25 feet 4 is basically going, towards the backyard. It's that 17'8" dimension that is really kind of pushing us into that setback, or the side yard. Taking the bathroom down to a single vanity is really going to cut down the use of that for an everyday, mom and dad. So I felt that bathroom size was, not excessive, but adequate. And they wanted a large shower, and then the stairway at 4 feet, the hallway at 4 feet, and then the bathroom was kind of driving the bus on the width there. I mean, cutting the master down in size, and even the bathroom, that would just come in, add more space to the backyard. But that 17'8" is really the benchmark or the baseline that I'm working off of.
Okay. So it's more the foyer entering the staircase than it is the bedroom and the bathroom?
Well, the combination of the bedroom, or the bathroom, and the hallway, and the 4-foot wide stair, which is actually 3'7" on the inside, once you get up there, to me is comfortable. I didn't think it was excessive, but I don't like going down to, minimum stairways, especially when you got kids going up and down them all day long. I just like to see a little bit more room in stairways itself.
And then you said you did look at other layouts. Could you just walk through one more time? So right now, you're a bit in that view, the original house is nice and orthogonally east-west, and the addition is askew. But in reality, the addition is orthogonal with Evergreen.
Correct. It's running parallel with Evergreen.
Yeah. It's like on that version, what's preventing you from coming off the rear of the home 90 degrees to the existing home? And not even going into the setback at all?
Well, it would have to, the point of access coming in from where that hallway is, it would just, I'm not going to say it couldn't be done. I mean, I'm always willing to go back to the drawing board. But it's just as far as this design, I felt really was the most attractive design that I could come up with, as far as keeping it parallel with the road, giving it a little bit of character instead of just coming as like this long, because it would really look like a long, skinny rectangle if you envision turning that to where it is, kind of parallel to the house. You'd be only able to go maybe, I'm going to guess, and it's hard to tell because of the angles, but maybe 14, 15 feet out to keep it within the setback, and then going straight back, it'd be a long, skinny rectangle. I would have to take the back portion behind the existing bedroom, and I looked at that, and I don't know if you notice on the floor plan that there's 2 existing windows in that bedroom. we would basically, and there's actually one on the side, on the west or the east side, looking at Evergreen. So we're losing one window right now in this bedroom. If I was to take that structure beyond that corner, we'd be losing two windows in that bedroom, and you would just have one really small window in that back bedroom. So I didn't think that was the best solution for this project.
Last question, when your surveyor came out, is there any chance he did capture, or they captured the property to the north?
I'll just take a peek at the site plan. No, he doesn't have any data on there as far as the property to the north. We just basically instructed him to say how much of a do we need for the variance before we spend more money on engineering. And
I shared the same observation that the north property appears to be much closer to the road than what you're asking for. And often when we're doing analysis, there is the evaluation of neighboring properties and what their minimums are, so.
yeah, I get that. I do the same thing when I'm doing site evaluations and feasibility studies. But the other thing I noticed too is that because of the right-of-way and that there's a lot of room there facing Evergreen Road than what I normally see in developments. And if we don't ask, the answer is no, so.
Yeah. Anybody else have questions for the applicant?
I would ask, looking at other alternatives in the sense of going up on the existing house, was any of that looked at, or is it any stipulations there or any things that were issues with that?
Well, that really wasn't communicated to me by my client. He really wanted a first-floor master suite.
Okay.
Because they're planning on being there quite a while, and gives them the opportunity to stay beyond being the empty nesters. And that's the whole reason for pursuing this project, because it's not a cheap project by any means, but they've looked at other options. They've looked at new homes, maybe building a new home, looked at other existing homes in different communities, but they really, really like this community. They're in Birmingham schools. It just checks all their boxes as far as where they want to be. So we're just trying to give them, I don't want to say it's the forever home, but it could be.
Thank you. Beth, you mind have a seat unless we need you back up? Anyone from the public here to comment on case 1443? I'll open it for public comment, sorry. Okay.
I did not get anything, no comments on this particular project.
Any comments? Okay, we'll go ahead, we'll close public comment and return the item to the board for discussion.
Okay.
For discussion.
I have 5 points here that I find unique about this situation that, sort of leans in their direction. One point is that this property line is facing a major thoroughfare, which we don't normally see. And that thoroughfare allows them not only a 40-foot setback, but probably an additional 40-foot from the street, right, which makes it much more unique than we've seen in any other property. The north side property, we know, where we can least agree visually, is probably well within the variance that we're trying to seek. There's nothing that shows an infringement on the right-of-way or a vision of, or a neighbor, infringing anyone's driving visibility like some corner lots, my own, and there was no negative commentary. I would say that this is a reasonable request and should be granted based on its uniqueness and the fact that it's not self-created. Just a few feet on a pretty much 100-foot spans.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It is 120 foot right away. So between the edge there. Sorry, it took a minute to get to that.
Okay. Any other members?
I'll weigh in agreement. and say that I think that it's a very minimal request, being 5 feet, especially compared to, we're talking, what'd you say, Suzie, 120 feet existing there. And I think there are a lot of thoughtful design considerations that went into, you're welcome, that went into attempting to avoid the variance, but realistic concerns with light in the home, you know, and other things that we all care about, especially when you're spending a substantial sum on a project. I find it very reasonable, and I agree.
Thank you. Other comments?
Going into it, my main concern was number 3, is this requested variance the least relief required. The additional information provided today satisfies where I was going with it, because I was looking at that back part of the house for additional space where you wouldn't even have to come in here for the variance, but in hearing about the other thoughtful designs and the way that you wanted to do it, number 3 is, for me, is satisfied.
Thank you. Likewise, my concern coming in was this the least minimum relief needed to comply. So I appreciate the feedback on reusing the corridor to provide traffic, and I don't think there's another way to reorientate it without encroaching, taking away the windows in the other bedroom. And I do think the was that 20, 30 degrees askew existing home makes it difficult to the homeowner to do the addition while staying in the square footprint. Anybody inclined to make a motion to approve or deny or other?
Shall I?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Tomich?
I move to grant the variance requested by Alexander Brannigan at 20065 Plantation Lane, ZBA case number 1443, to deviate from section 46-167 corner lot setback and 46-275 schedule of regulations to encroach into the front yard setback on Evergreen Road by 5 feet, resulting in a setback of 35 feet. This determination is based on the finding that the petitioner has demonstrated a practical difficulty exists based on the following criteria. Applying the strict letter of zoning restrictions will unreasonably prevent the landowner from using their property for a permitted purpose, and/or conformity with the zoning regulations is unnecessarily burdensome because of the unique placement of the existing structure. Substantial justice would be achieved for the applicant and neighboring property owners by granting the variance, and approval of the variance would not negatively impact adjacent property owners or land within the district. The requested variance is the least relief required because it is a 5-foot variance, and the totality of the existing, easement, was 120 feet. The situation is unique to the subject property and not related to the general conditions of the area. The circumstances requiring the variance are not self-created.
Thank you. We have a motion. Anybody to second?
I'll second.
Tie goes to...
You want to arm wrestle? No, okay. I'll take it, I'll second.
Okay, motion seconded. Go ahead and take a vote on the motion, please.
Okay, Ms. Tomich?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Stroker?
Yes.
Mr. Rusaw?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Caputo?
Yes.
Ms. Palamenti?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Palameni, I think I pronounced it wrong. Mr. Barron?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rott?
Yes.
And Chair McCarr?
Yes.
All approved.
Motion approved. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the election of secretary. So if everybody recalls from our recent bylaws that were approved, or not approved, they were
Adopter?
adopted, thank you. We need to elect a secretary for the board to assist with the duties of a secretary.
But guess what? I said secretary, and I guess I should have caught this before. You really just got to elect officers because this is a brand new board. This is a brand new term.
Brand new term.
Brand new term for everybody. We elected in July. So I should have just said officer elections.
You need a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary.
Now's your opportunity, sir. Or now's your opportunity, ma'am, is really what it comes down to.
No, I don't think so.
It hasn't been a year.
No, but every July, right? Every July, you guys do election of
We
officers.
just did that.
That's my thought.
We just did that a few months ago.
I think you appointed a secretary because you didn't have one.
Correct.
If I
Correct.
recall.
But
But we just did
I
that.
we
tried to
March?
get someone else to
We
do
did that
this
in
job, and no one else.
And no one wanted
It wasn't that long ago. Maybe I'm wrong, but I,
No, you're right.
I don't think it was.
We just did
I
that.
mean, you
Susan.
guys can do secretary now, and then, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't mind eating a little crow, like it happens sometimes. Today is a Monday, and I've been eating crow. So, it's cool.
I get myself
why don't we,
in those
if it's
messes a
okay,
lot,
stick to the agenda. Election of secretary, and then if we do need to do a
You guys are gonna be here in August, so.
Officers.
Fix it then if what you do.
That's part of the administrative comments are going.
Yes.
So do we make a motion to,
I would start with nominations.
okay. I nominate the reappointment of our existing chair as chair for the upcoming term.
Then we would stick it to the agenda.
We're just doing secretary?
I think we're doing secretary.
Sorry.
I have found out a different
You
board
did
too.
such
You
a
don't
nice
have to be
job.
present to be nominated and voted either, so you can't just hide. Thank you. So yes, just for nominations for secretary.
And before anybody gets scared, let's just be clear, and I think we did talk about this before. The secretary really is the person who signs the minutes, signs the communications to the applicants as to whether they were approved or denied. It's not keeping the minutes. You have delegated that authority to the recording secretary. So it's a administrative position purely. All we need is your signature.
Trying to make it valuable for me.
And the floor is open for nominations.
Yes.
I would like to make a nomination.
All right.
I will like to nominate Mark.
Signature mark.
I
Is there
know, I know.
support?
I'm thinking it might block me from being chairman, that's why.
We motion
But
the
that's what I want.
nomination, and then we vote.
Yes, we need a nomination in a second, just like a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion for Mr. Barron, seconded. I had
Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Ms. Tomich, actually, was on my.
A battle.
Can I decline
I'll
this?
second that. Let's have
To
fun.
arm wrestle. Who said arm wrestle? You have to arm wrestle.
Savannah said.
I think Mark would make a superior secretary.
Just think, you could put it on your LinkedIn. It'll look really good.
Build that resume.
Yeah.
If this keeps me from being nominated chairman next term, then I'm all in.
I recall you saying you might be traveling a lot, though, so I didn't know if you were still.
Well, yeah, I've been more and more remote. We're closing the plant in California, so that takes a trip to California away from me. So I think I'm going to be around more than you think, or more than I thought a year ago.
Kristen, can the duties be performed remotely, or must they be done in person?
They have to be done in person.
Does the bylaws call for, like, if the secretary isn't present during the time that we need
Last year.
signatures, is there like a stand-in for the secretary? Or no?
There's not, but there's also no deadline necessarily.
Hillary, you just need to be able to respond to it. Oh, so technically, yes, because I send an email for signatures.
Didn't notice, which
Tim's got really good
which
at.
I'm currently doing, so I'm super excited.
So-
Just to repeat,
I will say, so what I do, this is the secretary's primary function, is that I put together a motion summary letter. Each one of our applicants will get one tonight saying, this is the general summary of what happened. And then currently it goes to Tim to sign his life away electronically. And then I send that on to the applicant.
I was hoping to,
Done.
defuse the signing your life electronically comment. Article 4, Section 3, secretary shall certify the meeting minutes.
You don't want this.
Meeting minutes are taken by others, so you're literally just
And
signing.
approved by the board, by the whole board.
Yep, yeah, thank you, after approval. And the secretary shall sign correspondence or documents as may be necessary.
Thank you.
I guess,
Can I make it, I'll take it if I'm voted in, and I will be around to do it.
Ms. Tomich, do you have any exception if I retract my
I do not have any exceptions.
eagerness?
I support that retraction.
So we don't have to wrestle?
I would like to withdraw my motion,
Nomination, okay.
my nomination. Thank you, words are hard.
I know.
Does anyone need to second my
No,
Okay, thank you.
no, if you withdraw, it's done.
Okay. So I guess all those in favor of Mr. Barron being the secretary for the ZBA, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone opposed, say no. Congratulations. Mr. Barron is our secretary.
We'll have a Zoom party.
Okay. So next up on the agenda, I swear I'm going to get my printer to work next month, so I don't have to do this electronically again. We have public comments. Is anybody here from the public that would like to comment on items from today's agenda? Okay. Having heard no public comments, we have our liaison comments. Mr. Drummond.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our newest member. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I don't really have anything for you guys tonight, but if you have questions for me, fire them away. I'll do my best.
I have a burning question.
Yes.
What's the update on the park?
You guys always want me to steal Susie's fire here. I don't have the update, to be honest. You can have it. You can have it. She's much closer to it every day than I am, so I'll defer to her on that
Are
one.
they on vacation, or?
It's a construction project.
They work, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Checks out.
It sounds like we're on schedule.
You know my background as much, that's average.
I know. It's just funny to.
Well, if you guys have any questions, you think of them, let me know. I know the fence ordinance came up tonight. Yep, it's a long one. I've been involved with the fence ordinance, I think, coming up on 12 years. So if you guys have any questions for that, I can answer those
Is there also?
formally or informally.
I have a question. I've received some, I don't like it. I get copied on resident emails. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but Riverside Park, something about that work being done?
Yes.
Was there? Was that announced? Was it sudden? Was it
Yeah, no,
something
that
that's
was
been planned for a while?
planned work that took place over at Riverside. MDEQ has since been there and given some recommendations on improvement there, so those will be followed.
And everything's up and up. I mean, the noise I'm getting from emails is just upset neighbors.
Without reading the emails, I couldn't tell you for sure, but I do know MDEQ did come out to the site. MDEQ did look at it. That was last Tuesday. They were on, they've issued what they're going to issue on it.
Okay.
Has there been any positive feedback other than myself regarding the elimination of short-term rentals?
That does come up periodically. Trying to think of, it,
Yes.
yes,
You mean
there is.
like Airbnbs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any action?
There is some support for it on council to put some stuff, more stuff in place than what's currently there.
Does it have to be in a planning thing that goes into the ordinance, or is it?
We're going to work on it.
I mean, it's the, it's the Saturday morning thing. I'm just a bill and I'm only a bill and I'm. I mean, how does it work? How does it kind of, how do we get to this? We talked about it, but how do we get to the?
Ms. Cole will be more than welcome to it.
I can just tell you
as I
generally,
said.
there's typically two options. You would address it through the zoning ordinance by, deciding where it is not a permitted use, and then create some supplemental regulations. You didn't ask, but my opinion is that the preferred route is to do it as a code provision and create a permit requirement, because then nobody's grandfathered. Everybody who's operating a short-term rental would have to get a permit. But we haven't gotten that deep into discussions with council yet.
Right, so we haven't, I look forward to the next meeting and seeing it move forward.
Well, letters were received, and, well, the for sale sign hasn't gone up, but it's on Zillow, so. So, it's good enough for me.
There you go. Any other questions? Yes.
Does the council need to appoint another alternate for zoning board, or do we just carry one alternate?
Just one, right?
Technically, we can have two. Surprise, I'm actually gonna talk to Planning Commission. We've been talking internally about actually reducing even the number of seats on ZBA from 9 to 7, because 9, you guys are a really big board, in case you didn't know. So the law allows us to have a minimum of 5, 5, 7, or 9, right? And so we've been talking kind of internally. We have one alternate right now. We do have a second alternate open, right? We technically could appoint someone from council to serve as an alternate. But we've just been talking internally of, maybe it's better to reduce the number of seated ZBA members, since we do have a bit of a challenge finding individuals to serve on this board, not applicants. We get applicants.
Right. Are there other boards full?
Other boards are full, yeah.
And if we have 7, does that change the voting requirements the passing of requirements? Are we
proportionately, right?
Because it becomes a proportion of, right?
Yeah.
Instead of 5, it becomes 4 generally.
4 is the majority, 2/3 that are needed in certain situations is 5.
And then if there's not a quorum, we'd need to have a seated 7 in order to hear any case, right?
How does that work mechanically? Do people phase out after a term is finished? You just don't fill it, or do we get like, hey, thanks, don't come anymore?
Please stop coming. I think we'd probably phase it out, but that's still part of what we need to figure out, like the best way forward on that, if we choose to go that way.
Secretary's the first one to go.
I was going to say, don't fire the secretary.
I knew there was a catch.
Mr. Drummond?
Yeah.
All right, anyone else? Questions for council?
Just because we're here, and you guys probably know this stuff and I don't because I'm new, I do Meals on Wheels once a week, and there's somebody or a house that I deliver to that is right across from Greenfield Elementary, where they have closed off that side street and the main road. And I noticed that I couldn't pull into the driveway because it's completely blocked off from all traffic. And it's a group home that has disabled individuals that live there. And they noted to me, not knowing who I was, I said, yeah, I had to park across the street and walk these meals over. And they said, we're really afraid that one of our residents may need medical attention. These are elderly and disabled people, and if we need an emergency vehicle, to come and assist them, they have no good way to pull into the driveway or to access the property. So I was just wondering where I can direct people to take those types of issues or complaints and what can be done.
Yeah, so is that the south side of 13 Mile, or is it?
When you say north, south, east, and west, I'm like,
Across 13 Mile
I get
from
stressed
Greenfield?
out. So it would be the north side, like right across from, across the side street from Greenfield Elementary. It's the corner house there. It's the corner lot, and their one and only driveway is on the side street. They don't have entry to their driveway from 13 Mile Road.
Gotcha. So it's still in Beverly Hills, because once you cross 13 Mile, you get into Southfield, and then if you
Right.
cross
So it's on
Greenfield,
Fairfax?
you get into Royal Oak.
Yeah, it's on, right across, their driveway is right across from where you would enter the elementary school parking lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That one does get a little tricky, because that construction project is actually run by Southfield.
Yeah, you can see, this is the issue. This is the only way you can get.
This is their house?
This is where the front door is, but there's also an access over here, a side door. But you can't access this at all. It's completely blocked from both directions. So, obviously that was a safety concern. And these poor folks who work at the home, they just work there, right? And they're just they're scared for the residents inside.
Connect after.
Sure.
Yeah.
Southfield,
you knocked that.
Southfield's in charge of that project, so we need to make sure that they know we need to open up some.
What?
What?
Who is that? God?
Quiet for a change. It was me. We'll connect
That
to make
is
sure you
Mike.
have.
He's the AV guy.
Oh, God, I don't know.
The man behind the curtain. So we'll connect afterwards and I'll make sure you guys.
Thanks.
have
Yeah,
good
still
contact
finding
for Southfield over there.
finding out who does what and everything. But thank
Yeah,
you.
I'd be interested to know why Southfield went kind of that far north there with the road removal. I don't know if it's infrastructure or what it is, but.
Right. I have a few questions about Southfield.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you guys need from me?
I think you're off the hook. Thank you.
Tomorrow, I don't want to steal your thunder, but tomorrow night's the discussion of the traffic thing there, so everyone who is, really loves traffic, 13 Mile and Southfield Road. I'm sorry, Beverly, I'm looking at 13 Mile. Beverly and Southfield Road, there's a traffic study that's been done there, and that presentation will be tomorrow here at the village office, talk about what's come out of that and possible futures on, plans on how that intersection can be improved, because it's one of the most dangerous ones in our community.
I agree.
Is that a presentation or public comment?
It's an open house. So it's
At 6:30?
6:30.
I mean, how many solutions can there be? I mean,
There's 4 options that are going to be presented.
Come tomorrow and find out.
Yeah.
oh no, I'm going to watch on
That's all.
TV.
Oh, it's not going to be on TV. You got to come.
Yeah, we got to come.
Will popcorn be provided or should we bring our own?
You should bring your own. There's no formal presentation, right? It is open house format. So we will have a couple of boards related to the data that we gathered with a survey earlier this year. And then we will have the four options presented in here. And we'll have project consultants, HRC, they will be here, I will be here, answer any questions and talk about concerns and see what you got, markers and sticky notes, and bring your best comments and ideas and your popcorn, because I'm not providing snacks.
She wants to.
All right. I think we're ready to move on to administration comments.
Yeah, so that was part of them.
We haven't stolen already?
That was part of them. So that is tomorrow, 6:30, 8 o'clock, here, right here, in this room. Come, bring friends, bring your neighbors, bring family. Seriously, I mean,
Get more
I've seen.
chairs. Get more chairs.
Yeah.
There's no chairs. This is standing room. It's an open house. There will not be a presentation, right? This is, the open house tomorrow is truly meant to gather additional feedback on the designs, right? Council hasn't even seen these. I don't think the manager shared them with them. But we're getting the feedback so we can further refine, really tighten up the rest of the report, and then a formal presentation will be made to council soon. When that is, I'm not entirely sure at this point, but, and hopefully by the end of this, we will have a preferred alternative that we can say, this is the design that we would like to move forward with. The road commission has been involved in this process. They are well aware of what we're doing, what we've been discussing. They kind of get the first blush before we're like, hey, what do you guys think? And so far, they have not told us, go way back to the drawing board, right? So I think they're very interested to see what we come up with and what the residents are interested in and seeing change there, because it's a very dangerous intersection. So that's tomorrow. It will not be televised.
I will be here.
Right.
I live on Beverly Road. I will be here.
Right, so be here, it'll be good. We are also going to be kicking off the master plan and zoning ordinance rewrite at the planning commission meeting on the 22nd. Is it the 22nd? 22nd, 23rd? 22nd.
Oh, it is the 22nd?
22nd. So there will be a joint planning commission village council meeting on Wednesday, July 22nd. And we're really going to start setting the direction of where do we want to go, what do we want to see, and what sort of improvements, what's our vision for the community for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? So that'll be step one. It is a 2-year project, right, for both the master plan and the zoning ordinance. We've received grant funding to get that done, and that's a hard deadline, right? So we will be doing those concurrently. I mean, we are going to kind of front load the master plan so we can get rolling on that. Our consultant is Giffords Webster. They've already started doing an analysis of the zoning ordinance, and they promised me that they don't hate us yet. So we will be making updates to the zoning ordinance as we go along. If there's items in there that we know they're critical to us as we function, but maybe they don't have as great an impact on the contents of the master plan, right? Definitions, for example, maybe removing the garage standard from the definitions would be a good thing to work on.
Put it in the ordinance.
Yeah, putting
Like
it in the
repeat
ordinance, right?
Maybe.
So, things like that, but, I mean, stay tuned on that element, but you will be called upon to participate as we move forward in both of those processes, right? I expect that at least one of the surveys that we are going to do will be a very targeted survey for staff, planning commission, this board, and developers for the zoning ordinance functionality and, what are some of the issues that you guys see, right? But we're still really working through those questions and topics. But that is all I have personally on that one. The question about Beverly Park, yeah, it's going slow, all right? It is intended to be done before Labor Day. I don't know what the current status is, why they may not be working. I did text our public services director, but I have not heard back from him. But the goal is to get everything installed and up and functional before Labor Day. So that's the answer I have for you on that one. Thank you. Sorry, it's a non-answer. I'm happy to answer any other questions, so.
Just who do people talk to about the deer situation?
You can talk
okay.
to the councilman from
Watch out.
You can also talk to the village manager, Warren Rothy.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
We've had deer drama by my house, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
I know.
drove me about crazy with somebody who had an audio deer deterrent device
Oh,
that went
It doesn't stop.
forever into eternity. And I had to call code, sadly. It's gone now. It's gone. Yeah.
Anything else, Mrs. Tech?
that's enough for me today.
Thank you. Okay, almost done with the agenda. Zoning board member comments. Does anybody from the board have comments?
I just have a quick one. I kind of mentioned it to you earlier. I feel like we've been getting a lot of corner lot with the 40-foot setback. Is that something that would be addressed in your conversations with the zoning and looking at that? We've had quite a few, I feel, in my short term here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure Mark has something to say.
Right up there with fences and garages.
Well, that too.
Well, it's the uniqueness of the property, which is why if it was a normal lot, they wouldn't be before us half the time because they'd be able to comply. It's that, I think a lot of people don't understand the relationship between front yard and side yard when you're on a corner.
It will be something that they look at, though. They have already asked me that's part of the zoning analysis of, like, what's going on? Like, where are the weaknesses, right, in your, or problem areas in your ordinance? And one of the defining characteristics of a problem is that it keeps coming back to the ZBA, right? So they've already asked, like, hey, do you got a spreadsheet of what your variance requests have been for, like, since the dawn of time? And I may not have from the dawn of time documented, but I've got several years, right? So they will be getting that information.
Study what the average width of a garage door should be in relation to today's vehicles.
Man, they are
and
going to
make them
nerd
wide.
out hard, right? They will.
I think one year we had 4 of those. So stuff like that
Yeah,
get caught up with the standard.
Standard now, that's what.
the standards change too.
Anybody else have comments?
Wait, can I go back one? Can I just say welcome to our newest member?
I was going to say it,
Thank
but
you.
okay.
I should. I know, but there needs to be a spot on the agenda at the top of the agenda where I can say, hey, we've got a new member. We've got a new member. Okay.
Yay. Thank you.
Welcome to Savannah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm done. You can carry on with your thunder.
I have no comments. All right, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor say yes. Yes. And opposed, say no. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.